Okay, I'm still experimenting with this part of the iPad where you have it facing the right way as opposed to the other way. Now you get my regular body as well as my mirrored body. Yeah, okay. We're gonna talk about the Daniel Penny. And the reason why I'm having my shirt off is it's hot in my room, even though it's December. We're gonna talk about the Daniel Penny Jordan Neely incident. The jury came back yesterday because it's tomorrow already. Yes, today is tomorrow. It was yesterday, and the jury came back with a verdict. Now, keep in mind that only about one in every 500 people that gets arrested gets an actual jury. Okay, everyone else either takes a plea deal, or gets a trial by a judge, or gets the case dismissed. Okay, and even though most people will get jury duty once in their life, I got it twice. Jury duty is mostly you sitting around a room waiting to be called in, or maybe you screen for some kind of case, and that case may be settled before you even get a case. You know, they'll call a jury and the guy will say, you know what, forget it, I'm guilty. I plead guilty. Or they'll call a jury in for a civil case and the oils, you know what, fuck this, let's make a deal. Let's negotiate. So even though we get jury duty, very few guys get on an actual jury. And the actual jury was having a hard time deliberating. And in mid deliberation, the judge said, you know what, cancel the first verdict, look at the second verdict. Because the judge wanted to force the decision. And that's actually illegal in New York State law. New York State law does not allow a judge in mid deliberation to say, you know what, I really, 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 really want a decision. It's called an Allen charge. The jury says, Your Honor, we can't decide. And you say, you know what, decide, figure it out. You must find a way. Yeah. A hung jury usually means that one or more jurors can't decide. Civil trials, which a civil trial, a jury is like one at every 10,000 in a civil trial. 99% of civil trials are handled between the lawyers, and once in a distant blue moon, they go to a judge to negotiate in a conference meeting. And then they may have a civil trial with the judge as an arbitrator. That's an actual trial. And then really rare occasion, there'll be a civil jury. In a civil jury, which is one case out of 10,000, only 7 out of 12 jurors are required to make a verdict. In a criminal jury, all 12 must make a verdict. If all 12 can't make the verdict, you are hung jury, and the de facto decisions you get released. According to the Sixth Amendment, there is a loophole that allows, if you get a hung jury, you can retry the case. It's the rare occasion you can retry the case. Very rare. But yeah. And 99% of the time, the DA says, you know what, fuck it, I got other cases. But when you have a case that's very important, the prosecutor comes back and tries it again. Or if the prosecutor is a scumbag, he comes back and tries it again. Now, if you look at this case logically, no constitutional scholar will agree the case should have been even brought, period. It shouldn't have been issued at all, period. Okay? New York State has self-defense laws. United States has self-defense laws. Now, I always tell people, if you see a criminal, you can legally detain that criminal at the scene, but you must get into the police as soon as it is possible. Okay? Like, only a police officer can take a prisoner from point A to point B. And even then, when that police officer takes that prisoner, point B must either be the hospital, the precinct, or the jail, or the courthouse. He can't just take the prisoner somewhere. And Daniel Penny detained someone he knew was a criminal at the scene, and when the police did arrive, he immediately surrendered the prisoner to the police. He also remained behind and answered questions on a body camera, and he also voluntarily went to a precinct and waived the Fifth Amendment and his attorney and spoke privately with the detectives. Yeah, because he thought he was a good guy doing the right thing. And he did not know Jordan Neely had died yet. Now, I understand a detective that has a criminal in the interrogation room, finagling the guy, but when you are a detective and you have a citizen that detained a criminal, and that citizen is willing to cooperate with your investigation, and you're finagling him, you're a disgrace. Okay? You're a disgrace. Okay? That's disgusting. I don't. If you're a detective and you got a guy that you know is a bad guy, and you got to interrogate him, and you got to manipulate him, and you got to play good cop, bad cop. Okay, there's tricks you can do legally. That's fine. But when you get the guy in the room and you hide evidence, like the guy died, right? Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. Now, what happened was, Jordan, I did not know this until later on. New York City has, on average, between 6 and 8 million people living in it. New York City can have, on a day, thousands of visitors. The visitors in New York City can even outmatch the populations of other cities. These visitors could be day visitors, go to the museum, go to the movies, go to the play, go to a restaurant, go shopping. Or they could be out of town visitors from the other side of the planet. Also, New York City has workers that could be waitresses or brain surgeons that live virtually everywhere. The Metro North, not the subway, the Metro North railway system goes Westchester, Putnam, Connecticut, Jersey. There's even a couple of stations in northeastern Pennsylvania where you can get a train and go into New York City for work, but you live in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So it's a very, very complex network of trains. If they have a couple of ferries that ferry workers, or you drive your car to the ferry stations, drop it off, and ferry into New York City. A lot of people in the city. Now, NYPD had a list of all the people that live in the city, visit the city, commute to the city. They had a list of 50 people out of millions, 50 people, that are subway riders that are extremely dangerous. And Jordan Neely was at the top of that list, literally. Not a joke at all. Now, a lot of times we talk about what you knew at the time, not what you found out later. Example, if I'm walking through a parking garage and a guy has a ski mask and a knife, and I shoot him and kill him, and his friend runs out of nowhere crying like a fucking baby, "Oh my God, you killed my friend. It was a prank. We're from the YouTube channel, Garage Pranks." Okay, it doesn't matter that the knife is plastic and it's a YouTube prank. It matters that when I shot the guy, I thought in my head the guy was trying to kill me. He presented a threat to me and tried to convince me that I was in danger. Okay? Now, Jordan Neely was on K2, which is a synthetic, what's the word? A synthetic cannabis, I'm sorry. And he had a lot of mental issues. And he had a lot of physical health problems, more on that later. And he was in the middle of a psychotic rant, okay? He was not talking loud. Okay, I'm talking loud. I talk loud every day. He was threatening people's physical being. Most of them were black, because we're obsessed with race. Now, then after that, Jordan Neely, and I found this out later on, Jordan Neely was literally threatening a baby. They literally had a baby on the train in a stroller, and he was literally threatening to hurt the baby at the exact moment that Daniel Penny grabbed him. Now, police in New York City banned the chokehold years ago because they choked a guy and broke his neck by accident. And I'm talking like 35 years ago or more. I forget the exact year, whatever. Most police departments banned chokeholds years ago for the same reasons. And the rest of the police departments banned chokeholds when George Floyd died. Yeah. But Daniel Penny is not a police officer. He's a Marine Corps veteran, currently a private citizen. And he was restraining Jordan Neely in a way. And more on this later. The more Jordan Neely fought back, the more he had to fight to restrain him. Because it's called the point of no return. Okay? Once I grab a mentally deranged person in the middle of a psychotic rant that's ready to kill people, I can't just let go. Okay? Now, here's no Jordan Neely's on PCP. Now, PCP, and I've had guys on PCP. It's scary. PCP, some guys on PCP get fucking goofy, and some guys get violent. If someone is on PCP and they're violent, I'm sorry, if someone is on PCP and they are violent, they get superhuman strength. It's like saying you have a fucking movie or a comic book where you take the magic formula. They get super strength. Also, PCP kills your nerves, and Neely was not on PCP by the way, but theoretically, PCP kills your nerves, so I could take a crowbar and I could bust your fucking skull open, and your brain can come out. You're still gonna want to fight me. You can't feel pain on PCP. And Daniel Penny doesn't know if it's PCP, if it's K2, if it's heroin. He doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is he's got to get control of this guy. And every single person on that subway is calling 911. And even hardcore New York City subway rioters, this is crazy. We're in danger. Okay? You can have a subway guy in New York City who's a hardcore subway rioter, and he or she could be standing like this while some guy is naked dancing with knives. Okay? So for the New York City subway rider to say, holy shit, I'm in danger, that's a problem for them. And you have the body camera from his immediate testimony at the scene. You have other witnesses at the scene. And they all testified to the fact that Jordan Neely was very violent at that moment. Now, why did Jordan Neely die? Apparently, it was a combination of health problems. Because he's a homeless mental patient, he's not going to the doctor and getting his problems addressed like you or I would. Those problems manifested. Also, the K2 in his body was not helping either. Also, while he was being restrained, that's also stressful. Also, he was fighting back, which meant Daniel Penny had to fight back more to restrain him. And all that combined killed him. Now, I don't think Daniel Penny wanted to kill him, because Marines, regardless of the MOS, a Marine could be a musician. Okay? A Marine could be a ballet dancer. That Marine knows hand-to-hand combat. And if Daniel Neely wanted to kill Jordan Neely, he could have killed him instantly. And he wouldn't have been like, well, I know the guy was dead. Okay? Also, when he put Jordan Neely, when he was satisfied Jordan Neely was restrained, he put him in what we call a recovery position, which you take them and lay them on their side so they can breathe more easily. Now, when the paramedics got there, this was also an issue. Paramedics usually have a mask. I have one tucked away somewhere. I think it's one of the drawers. I got one in my first aid class. It's a mask that goes over your face, like this, and the paramedic has a nozzle they breathe into. That way they don't gotta touch your mouth, especially if you're bleeding. Okay? I don't know if they had those or not. They should have. But either the paramedic supervisor or the police supervisor But some supervisor told their men, don't touch his mouth because we don't know if he's got a disease. Okay? That also was a delay. There's also something called the assumption of risk. It's also saying you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. Okay. What does that mean? If I demonstrate this behavior and I suffer a consequence because of that, I cannot complain later. Example, if these people like on YouTube prank wars, whatever the fuck they call themselves, okay, if you're some YouTube prankster and you get a ski mask and a knife and you start walking around with it, or if you're walking around the dark alley with it, or if you're jumping on someone with a ski mask and a knife and they have a gun and they shoot you and kill you, or they're martial arts, they break your neck, the knife is plastic and it's a prank. But you went out of your way to put them in danger, make them think they're in danger. So you can't complain that you got shot or had your neck broken. Or if I go to rape a woman, I want to rape a woman. While I'm raping her, she has a concealed blade and she stabs me. Well, I can't complain, honey, I didn't know you were going to stab me. Because she's going to say, well, who the fuck are you to rape me? I don't want you to rape me. So because you tried to rape me, I stabbed you. Your problem, not mine. Jordan Neely was in the middle of a psychotic episode. He's on drugs. He's got a lot of mental problems. He's literally threatening a baby. It's one thing if you think a guy, like if you say a guy, I'm gonna punch him in the fucking face, okay? You and a guy go, fuck you, I'll kick your fucking ass, motherfucker. Okay? That's two guys. Okay? And if I see two guys, fuck you, I'll kick your ass, motherfucker, I'll be like, okay, dial the police, let them handle it. Okay? In the meantime, let them beat the shit out of each other. But when you're literally threatening a baby, you have a fucking baby, and you're threatening a baby with bodily harm, you can't complain later you got hurt. I can't be like, well, I was threatening a baby and a guy grabbed me. Okay. Whose fault is that? Mine or yours? And Jordan Neely's record is absolutely terrifying. He has records for mostly assault or robbery, and most of them are against women and children, by the way. He even kidnapped a 7-year-old girl. Now, I don't know where that 7-year-old girl is today. I guess she's a little bit older now. And thank God they got her away from him before he did any physical damage. Obviously, 7-year-old girl kidnapping, mental damage. But thank God they got her in time. Now, if Jordan Neely was in a decent district like Florida or Texas, he would have been doing about 10 years in prison just for the kidnapping. Let alone the other bullshit. Okay? All the crimes he committed, he should have been in prison for those crimes. Not on the street. Okay, you got assault, robbery. I think he threw someone in front of a subway train one time. I mean, all the people that go to New York City, live in New York City, work in New York City, visit New York City, okay, you're talking, I guarantee you, New York City could easily have 15 million people a year inside of her. Whether it's the residents or the visitors, I guarantee you that 15 million bodies can pass through that city every year. And for the NYPD to have all those people and be like, you are number one on our list of most dangerous subway riders, that's a problem. He was actually more dangerous than Daniel Penny thought he was. And obviously, Jordan Neely's family is going to file a lawsuit because all of a sudden they care. Obviously, BLM, who put mansions in white neighborhoods a couple years ago, now cares all of a sudden about black people. And there's actually calls for violence. Now, thankfully, at least right now, most people are not heeding that call to violence, regardless of how they appear. Okay, most people right now are not adhering to the calls for violence. But the simple fact that they stand at a podium on camera and say, we need black people to hurt white people, that's what they're calling for. That is a threat. They should have been arrested for that and charged, right? Right then and there, the police should have come and arrested them. You got a guy saying, we need black vigilantes. We gotta hurt you. We gotta kill you. Okay? Right then and there, the police gotta arrest him. Because It doesn't matter whether anyone listens to you or not. It doesn't matter legally. If you threaten physical violence, I will kill you. I'm calling for an uprising. I'm calling for violence. I want people to be violent. I want people to hurt people. I want people to kill people. That is not free speech. The Supreme Court said that is a threat, and you should be arrested for making that threat. That you should be arrested for that. Okay, that should be a felony. It is a felony. So we're talking about we gotta enforce the law. Okay, arrest that guy, put him on trial for felony terroristic threats. Or because he's saying we need to hurt white people, that's a hate crime. Bring him to the federal courthouse and let's see how that goes. Disgusting. Thank you.